he's flying up the hill. Rossi also with a decent start. And Vinales, it's going to be a Yamaha.
Owner is certainly one of the Red Bull KTM Tech 3 bikes. The Yamaha whole shot device working perfect. Then for Miguel Oliveira. Already though you can see Quartararo and Vinales trying to stretch away.
Leading from Maverick Vinales, from Valentino Rossi. Then it's Jack Miller, who's up in
Spargo well wide at turn 5. How good is that Yamaha whole shot device? So Rossi got the dream launch since Phillip Island in 2014. It's early doors here in Jerez. Well, that's what we've got right.
Ducati riders, Miller, Bagnaia, who's now gone through on Taka Nakagami. What happened? Smith also involved.
So that's compromised their race. Last weekend there was an early bender played a blinder. He's going to have to do the same again.
Maverick Vinales up inside.
No, he hasn't.
He's well wide. He loses out. He drops back to third.
Vinales does hold on to that third place though. Big mistake. Tried to get up the inside of Quartararo. Round one.
Prentice and the Master in first and second here then. Quartararo, Rossi, and 9 places made on that opening lap from Alex Marquez from the very back of the grid.
Yeah, saw Polis put the drama into the first corner then. Miguel Oliveira did not get a good start. Look, he's been swallowed up on
They tagged the back wheel of Oliveira.
Yeah, and that was a nasty old impact, wasn't it? Oliveira landing and then clipped him again for a second time.
Ouch. Ouch.
Headed Oliveira, let's hope he's okay. All the whole shot devices, it was a clean start for everybody inside that top 6. That's where LCR Honda thought he was going to be. Pekka Bagnaia at the moment swarming all over his...
As we look, Bagnaia's coming through on Miller. He's just a bit out of shape though into the last corner and he's gone wide.
Yeah, he's done Pekka Bagnaia somehow keeps it up. Costly though, he was getting frustrated and impatient there because let's hope he is okay. Looks like he might have just had the wind knocked out of him. That's why he stayed down at the start. Now Quartararo, the buffer that Quartararo wanted. This is costly for Vinales. Cannot get stuck behind Rossi for too long.
Petrucci got a lot of work to do from back there. Fastest lap of the race of 38.280 from Quartararo.
Half a second quicker than Vinales. Already is he making that decisive break? If he does, as he was for Miguel Oliveira, well, the nerves didn't have to last for too long, did they? Unfortunately, they weren't jangling for that long. Vinales still no way through on Rossi.
No, and there's a bit of a train forming here. Jack Miller's closing in. Closes. Fabio Quartararo's checking out.
Yep,
onto the home straight here.
Try and get him on the brakes into first quarter and then set about somehow closing down what is a 1.5 second deficit. Taking huge chunks of time out of Rossi. 0.8 of a second that last lap. Quartararo was faster.
Chunks of time to the Frenchman out front.
Turn 13 hasn't been kind, has it, so far this year to Maverick Vinales in Jerez. Laps ago, couldn't make it stick. Trying to get the front early doors, and it could be a costly mistake for Maverick Vinales to go with Quartararo. One thing Rossi is brilliant on the brakes.
Yeah, notoriously always been a demon. Morbidelli, Mir, Dovi's now got through on Petrucci. He's up into 9th.
This will sting for Maverick Vinales as he's out of these two behind him. Another couple of attempts he's found. In fact, Quartararo is blitzing them in sector 3.
He's got to line up Valentino Rossi into the final turn. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Here he comes up the inside. Can he get...
Does he just have not enough trust in that front end yet while the full tank's still quite full? It's been Rossi through, not to have Jack Miller sweep through as well. Now here's Dovizioso picking his way through.
Is that Vinales having another pop at Rossi and it went slightly wrong because he's just lost a bit of ground, hasn't he?
So superior in terms of his rhythm. Again, that last lap, 0.6 quicker than Rossi, and while Vinales...
Got to give a shout out to Alex Rins at the moment. He's 1 place ahead of Cal Crutchlow in 16th place.
Yeah, that's something to their willpower and determination. Cal Crutchlow was saying that he was feeling a bit nauseous.
Wow. We have 2 factory Yamahas ahead of 12th. He can't get through on his brother Aleix right now.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Quartararo. This is just a typical Jorge Lorenzo Yamaha style demolition job. 0.7 quicker than Rossi. They've got nothing for him. He's going to be 3 seconds clear at the end of this lap, and there's ganging up behind him as well. Taka Nakagami hanging in there as well inside the top 6. There's been nothing that Franco,
because his pace is just as good as the guys in the podium fight. And Brad Binder, again, he's in the mid-38.
Quartararo.
It's incredible.
So once again,
a tale of what might have been.
Yeah, podium pace yet again.
Really wide. Bagnaia almost going through there on it.
Just was able to pull it back, was he, before Bagnaia pounced on him, showing Vinales a front tyre.
You've got to give Rossi credit here, Matt. I mean, he is doing everything.
Fit as a fiddle, isn't he? I mean, these are testing conditions for Valentino Rossi. He said pre-race, the toughest on place.
Top left of the picture, Fabio Quartararo had a little bit of a moment then. We'll get it.
1:38.793. Yeah, there was a small mistake on that lap as Rossi got within 3/10. Picture trying to hunt down.
Oh, Tech 3 are having a disaster.
Third crash of the weekend for Ika Lekuona as well, unfortunately. The unwanted last corner, just tipping off the side. Alex Rins is right on his case.
Alex Rins is in the pointy nines.
In the condition that he is, and Cal Crutchlow. They're both doing 1:39s.
Maverick Vinales there on this lap. He's falling into a bit of a Ducati trap. Look how costly it's become. And there you can see, look, Maverick
Sting for Vinales, particularly if he drops back behind those two Pramac Ducatis as well, because he'll be close enough to attack the Japanese man into the final corner. We're looking back from Nakagami. Morbidelli's going for it, but he really forced the issue. There was nothing that Nakagami could do. He would see Morbidelli on the inside, couldn't turn in.
Good, I mean, fair play. This is no fluke.
Settled into a good rhythm now, Rossi.
Yep.
30. This phase of the race, a long, long way to go. We've still got 18 laps. I mean, how punishing is that going to be?
Podium, age 41, in conditions like this. It'll be one of his greatest ever podiums.
Yeah. And a week after everybody said he called.
So, Ducati's then trying to find a way through on Maverick Vinales. Now, almost half a second on Maverick. And if Maverick does fall behind one of those Ducatis...
Weekend, that would be a disaster. That would be a disaster. I don't care if he's top 6, top 5.
Through on Bradley Smith, that puts him up into 18th place as he hunts down some points.
Yeah, a bit of youthful exuberance into that tight first one. I remember in 2006 when Tony Elias clobbered into Valentino Rossi. That seconds clear of Valentino Rossi, who's now stretched his lead over Vinales as Bagnaia.
Pecco does that. You can just see Jack at the moment is just trying to conserve himself a little and then waiting for that right move to...
As well, whether these guys in that pack, how their front tyres are holding up pressure and temperature-wise, because fortunately he's out.
Oh, here comes Jack. Miller up the inside. For Maverick Vinales, he's wide though. He's really wide, and Pecco Bagnaia. So Miller, in an attempt to go up into a podium position, has now dropped back to 5th.
Aleix Espargo has kept the lack of acceleration on that Aprilia. He's so on the limit, on the brakes, every single corner.
No further action taken after the reviewing of the incident.
That's just a typical
it's turn one in RF there. He's got past Nakagami and really closed on these guys. This is looking good for Morbidelli. Got two Ducatis in front of him, which are notoriously difficult to pass, but he's faster than them, that's for sure.
Higher pressure on the front and the temperature went through the roof, and it became a bit of a handful to turn that Yamaha. We know how good it is, what an agile, and of course you've got to take so many risks to get by the Ducati. It's so good on the front end braking stability wise.
Speed difference, look at the speed difference there of the Ducati and the Yamaha. He can't quite find a way through though, can he? Bagnaia, he's in third, can he hold on to it? He can!
Smartness by Bagnaia, he's just picking up the pieces of everybody else's mistakes. Miller just keeping cool, keeping his head down, riding smart, not making mistakes, being smooth, and just letting the positions come to it.
It's clear of his protege, Pecco Bagnaia.
Well, what we've seen already, Ferraro, Marc Marquez will have 0. Is that already too much of a gap for even
left of this race? There's Jack Miller now trying to have a look up the inside of Maverick Vinales, and does. Can he hold it? It comes Morbidelli up the inside as well. Maverick Vinales is down to what is it next?
At all. They thought he was going to be going with Fabio Quartararo in a showdown at the front. This was regulations. I mean, you're supposed to be 2 metres away from everybody in the paddock. I think you're going to need to give Maverick Vinales 20 metres after this one.
Yeah.
He's going to be before the race, bouncing away in his seat in the pit box, listening to his tunes. Well, it's Fabio Quartararo. Yet another dominant victory here in Jerez. We said somebody's got to make hay while the world
Jack Miller has gone down and out
just see
of
that
the race.
Flash at the bottom of your screen, couldn't you?
We're getting livid. I think that's just the onboard noise of the marshals picking up the
tyre number 9. So it's not going to be a thriller from Miller today.
You're right, Matt. We're entering now. Pecco Bagnaia, you know, he's got a very good chance of finishing second here. Thumbs up from Miller.
He looks like he's got the better pace, doesn't he, Pecco Bagnaia? He said all throughout the weekend, in race trim, he feels like...
Who would have thought this? As Quartararo leads, Valentino Rossi is trying to defend second place with
race of attrition.
Oh, Rossi's wide.
Yeah, the guys are hitting massive tyre trouble already here. Everybody's running wide on the brakes. And Pecco Bagnaia then in second place. We've got our 3 VR46 Academy members. And yet again, who's just racing super smart, boxing clever like he always does, and behind Franco Morbidelli. And with the drop-off we expect coming in the tyres, we know that Dovizioso is undaunted getting himself into this podium battle. It seems a long shot right now, but who knows?
Anything in this race can go. Morbidelli Fabio Quartararo. Morbidelli's obviously looking for his first podium. Petronas Yamaha, of course.
Back to Taka Nakagami, although last time around Nakagami was slightly quicker. It's looking like Valentino Rossi has been one of Rossi's problems. He's looking like he's going to lose third place pretty quickly to Franco Morbidelli. Look how quickly back.
He just bolted away from it. Looked like Valentino couldn't get any rear grip.
Yeah, he's struggling there as well. Turn 6.
Just that tyre, his riding style, his natural body weight. Franco Morbidelli's getting a good look at the boss. This is on a postcard, please.
I cannot get my head around that at all.
Because he's circulating right now at the same pace as Fabio Quartararo, your race leader. 9 flats.
Yeah, and we know Suzuki are good at keeping tyres. Yep. So both Mir and Dovi might make some forward movement.
And that's not far behind podium pace at this stage.
No. Incredible.
I just
absolutely
can't process off to them.
This man here is in a world of his own right now. 4.5 seconds clear for Fabio Quartararo.
Is what we thought it was going to be. It's a proper battle of survival, this. The tyres are turning to...
Vicious stuff.